Hey, I'm Ossie from Three Monkeys Amps and Three Monkeys Solderless, home of the world's best cables for your pedal board for both audio and DC applications. No tools, just cut it to length. You take your plug and you screw it on, and when it bottoms out, you're done. You made yourself a cable. Pretty cool. All right, so this is a continuation of the Van Halen 1 pickup shootout. After that first one, a friend of mine, Hank, contacted me and put me in touch with Frank Falbo from Mighty Mite. Thank you for everything, Frank. Good to meet you and good to get to know you. And they sent me out a 1300 to compare to the older 1300 Mighty Mite. So thank you, Kim at Mighty Mite, for getting that pickup out in record time. So what we're going to do is I've got three Mighty Mite pickups here, right? I've got two vintage ones and I've got one new one. And then we're going to compare all three. And they're all the 1300 model, right? So we're going to see new versus old, old versus old, and how all that kind of pans out. And we're going to do it all in this guitar here, which is an ash guitar, kind of like, now you know why Eddie had the little cutout pick guard here, because you could just slide pickups under the strings as you want and play them and see which ones you like without having to go through a nightmare of doing the whole thing, right, of taking on and off the pick guard. So anyway, we're going to be playing it through the same rig as before, so stick around and let's see what they sound like. Okay, welcome back, and we're up in the Submarine studio. We have everything set up for our comparison. We have the first guitar loaded with the pickup. I've got the guitar sort of pointed away from the camera so you can't see the pickup that's in there, and you can use, more your ears than your eyes to listen to it. In terms of the setup, it's the same setup from the Van Halen 1 pickup comparison video last time. But for those that want to know what the signal chain is, here it is. Guitar into my 1970 50-watt Marshall, which is stock, run into the aux box, which is on the Sunset sound setting. That goes into a mixer here on the floor, which mixes in my microphone signal. And then the output of the mixer just goes straight into the auxiliary input on the camera. And that's really all there is to it. So it's really quite simple. So anyway, let's begin with the first pickup and see what it sounds like. Okay, so that was the first guitar, first pickup. Now we've got it loaded up again, and we're going to do the same thing again. And I'm trying to keep the pickup hidden so you can't cheat to see which is which and see which ones you like. I promise you, though, I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. So anyway, here we go. Here's the next pickup. Okay, so we've got 2 out of the 3 out of the way. So let's do the last one right here. Sorry about the clam. Okay, so there's the pickup comparison. We have all 3 guitars done, all 3 pickups rather done. And you can sort of decide for yourself what sounds like what. I mean, to me, all 3 sound different, right? And I think that's to be expected. When dealing with any particular product, that's like, even within a manufacturer's particular item, the particular spec, there's going to be variance, and that variance will generally fall within a bell curve. You know, some will be a little bit darker, some will be a little lighter, some will be a little bit hotter, some will be a little bit weaker in terms of pickups. And that's to be expected because the manufacturing process, although it's mostly tightly controlled, there still are anomalies that are beyond the control of the manufacturer. For instance, differences in the wire gauge when it's being pulled throughout the reel. Let's say the temperature on the day that pickup was wound, so the tension varied. The strength of the magnet, the composition, the metallurgy of the magnet, how the thing was assembled. I mean, every pickup is truly, and when I was speaking with Frank Falbo on the phone about this, every pickup is truly a snowflake. When you sort of go through having many examples of the same exact thing, you realize that really nothing is exactly the same as something else. I mean, I've had that experience, I think, with a variety of things, and in pickups, it is no different. I've had, for instance, pickups that are from major manufacturers that have, you know, very good quality control, using machines to wind things, and winding tons of these things. And basically, that's, you know, where you're going to find a lot of consistency. And I find that I'll get 2 pickups literally at the same time from the manufacturer, and they sound different to me. I'll put them in the same guitar and I'll say, well, this one sounds this way. This one's a little darker. This one's a little bit chewier. This one sounds a little bit, you know, creamier. This one's a little bit brighter. And that's to be expected. So in terms of like how I feel, the newer Mighty Mite 1300 fits in with the old Mighty Mites is, to me, it fits in with the statistical variation that I've seen having owned, you know, 4 1300s of vintage, you know, vintage make, that none of those sound the same. And same thing with, like, let's say when I'm using the old Super Distortions from DiMarzio. I mean, some of them I've got sound great. Some of them not so great. Some of them sound different. I mean, they really do. There can be all kinds of reasons, you know, supply chain differences, like we were talking about. But all in all, I think, you know, and this one is the new one. Okay. in case you wanted to know what that sounded, right? Oops, like I said, you're going to get some clams with the Teddy. All right, so I think that's good for right now. I think we're going to continue on narrowing down piece by piece, like through these experiments, like what people and what seems to work and what doesn't seem to work. And we're going to try to close in further and further on the sound. So I think we've got some consensus on the pickups to use for two different guitars. And then we're going to start putting together some of the things we learned in other videos, right? Like slaving and pedal board placement, the EQing, post and pre effects, compressors, and all that stuff. And gradually we're going to be putting this whole puzzle together into something that I hope sheds a little light on what I feel might have been going on, what the culmination of all the variables were at that time to create that product of that first album sound. So anyway, stick around. There's going to be plenty more to come over the months and years and decades and centuries. So in any case, I thank you for watching again and for all the comments. For everybody's been great. And I'm trying the best I can, so stick with me, all right? So I'll see you guys next time.